Hi guys, this is Breaker, and I am back with game number 2 between Invictus Gaming's Jim and Invictus Gaming's XY. Now, I'd like to go ahead and just ask you all a favor before we go ahead and get into this game, and that is please hit the subscribe button. Please show all of your friends this replay. I do feel that a lot of the Chinese SC2 players, well, at least not a lot, but at least most of the Invictus Gaming roster is equal to Korean Code A players in the GSL. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this game casted and underway. How about that? So in the lower right-hand corner, spawning is our red Protoss, Invictus Gaming's Jim. And in the upper left-hand corner, spawning as our purple Terran, his name is Invictus Gaming's XY. Map we're on today is going to be Whirlwind. As you can see, it's the latter edition as well. And this was basically taken from CPL Shanghai, or excuse me, CPL Shenyang, if you will. I really wanted to go to that one, if not, say, the IEM Shanghai. I really wanted to go to all of these tournaments in person, but unfortunately, it just, I don't know what it is. Maybe I just didn't have enough of a first impression with everyone who's basically in charge of those tournaments. And I'm working on my, I'm working my best to really get in on these events. I really want to go to one in person next time around. But overall, it's going to be an uphill battle. So, I guess that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I did get this replay from what I will say is an undisclosable source. It was not dropped.sc. But it looks like XY going for his, I wouldn't say much predictable, definitely an opener that he feels comfortable with and safe with, a double command center opener. And I think we could possibly see him follow it up with double barracks. I've seen him do this before versus iG.Xy, but I'm not sure how he'll do this versus Jim. If it's double barracks, and typically it's a definitive bio transition, and bio is basically the only safe play that you can go for versus Protoss these days. Mech has basically been figured out. I mean, get Void Rays out, GG. And there it is, you know? Can I call it, or can I call it? Sorry for that. Sorry about that. Yeah. Just one of those things, you know, it's one of those, it's really, how do I say this? I feel it's an honor to even be in the same observer lobby as these players, as was I for the last Neo TV Star League, and I'm looking forward to casting the next Neo TV Star League. I really am. It's going to be taking place on August 19th. To the best of my knowledge, there's actually going to be no hype video, and this one is basically to celebrate the release of Heart of the Swarm in China, and it looks like... Oh, okay, I see what this is all about. Okay. They requested a pause, I'm not sure why, but yeah. For some strange reason, XY went ahead and sent his SCV to cross position spawn, not to the upper right hand corner of the map first and then to the lower right. But a little curious as to why he did that. Maybe you could hear the casters or something like that. I do remember hearing Root Todd complaining about hearing the casters loud and clear while playing against Invictus Gaming's Jim. But nonetheless, you know, I think both these players have had excellent runs in the WCS NA. Both of them managed to make it into Challenger League. He, Maxed, and iG.Xy are capable of streaming on the front page of TeamLiquid.net if they so choose to, but for some strange reason they don't do it more often. Perhaps they don't want to divulge their strategies, and it makes perfect sense to me. I mean, once you think about it, Jim is actually in the, what do you call it? He's actually in the... Jeez. He's in the finals for WCS NA, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, wow, a DT opener. Okay, this is a little strange, because the last game that we saw Jim playing against XY, he actually... This opener was scouted, and he canceled it and went with a Robo instead. Now, we do have XY moving forward with a small group of Marines. Maybe not so much to really put pressure on his opponent's natural, but... You know, I mean, it's still worth doing. I don't doubt that much, but the probe was just shut down by these Marines, and that basically means that Jim is now alert and aware of what his opponent is going to do, but what is he waiting to get that Stalker out to the front lines for? Was that a misclick? Whoa, 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 what's he doing? Okay. He's gonna be forced to place a Nexus cannon here. That's wasted energy. XY had a plan for that. He wanted Jim to do that for some strange reason. If not, he was simply poking for a mistake. These players, you know, they really think that far ahead, and now it looks like XY is just gonna... Okay, he's just gonna stick back at home and just try and stay chill, but of course, he did only see one Stalker, and he saw that Jim was willing to put a bunch of energy into a Nexus cannon, so that means to XY, okay, Jim is saving resources for something. Maybe it's a kind of play that he wouldn't normally do against me. So he's already got a missile turret going down in the natural, which is good for defending against two things. The first one would, of course, be Oracles, Void Rays, that kind of thing. The second one would be DTs, of course. Not really directly defending. They, of course, can't shoot ground units, but they could most certainly... they can most certainly detect the DTs, and there's already been two that have been warped in by that warp prism, and they're going to hit at just the perfect time, as you can see here. There's no energy for scans, and there's no missile turret in the main, so that's actually, you know, that's slated to do a lot of damage. The SCVs have already been pulled. That's going to result in delayed mining time. Missile turret going down at the upper ramp, and it looks like, ooh, it gets canceled, so that's a little bit more in the way of resources lost. You can see a huge difference in income right now, simply given the fact that we have XY unable to mine, and he's got to save resources. He's forced to save resources for a scan right now, and he's going to have enough for one in about a single second. There it is. DT number 2 falls after DT number 1 was taken down in the natural. So altogether, I want to say this is kind of okay damage. Not too much in the way of workers killed, but you know, I mean, actually 5 of them, that's okay. That DT just missed the swipe, and it looks like targeted down a couple of Marines with that one, and that was it. Forcing another scan, I think that was pretty okay. You know, that's, after all, that's 600 minerals that we're not going to see our Terran getting back, and he's going to try and, he's going to be annoying again. He's going to get a 6th SCV kill. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and it looks like there's a missile turret that managed to finish up here that I wasn't paying attention to. So altogether, I'd say this definitely paid off on 2 base. He killed as many workers as he needed to, and now we have 56 harvesters to 39. Plus, Jim got his 3rd behind that. Well, didn't really get it secured, but he's definitely got it on the way. So he's got a pretty big lead, pretty substantial lead, if you will. But if we were to measure, I think... Oh, wait. Was there another one? Yes, there is another DT going into the main. Scan going down, shuts it down as well. So Jim absolutely being annoying, keeping XY on his toes. He's actually using DTs at a stage in the game when, like, many Protoss players would think that they are altogether simply useless. He's thinking to himself, okay, well, that missile turret, it's not all the way over here at the mineral line. So as long as it's not all the way over there at the mineral line, I'm going to go ahead and harass the hell out of XY. That's really clever thinking. I mean, he's abusing XY's mistakes, and that's what puts him on par with so many Korean pros. But wait, this double medevac drop saw Jim's drop going out, and it looks like XY does react to it. He's just got one Marine right there, and that's it, unfortunately. Zealot's going to drop in the main, but the Marines, I think, are going to try and target down that warp prism. They got to stem very carefully. There is no charge. Meanwhile, the double medevac drop is looking like it's going to head for the 3rd of Jim, which has not been scouted just yet. Now there are DTs warping in with the Zealots, and this is going to result in absolutely colossal amounts of damage if all of the DTs do not die right here, right now. He's got to be very careful and target fire all of them. Oh no, a couple of them just outside the scan range and dipping back and forth, but there's a missile turret right there, and the medevac drop here gets kind of thwarted. I don't think it ever once landed. The Nexus cannon going down on the natural here for Jim, and he's basically forced his opponent to pick up that drop and then drop it somewhere else. And now XY is basically pretty confused here. He doesn't know what to do. He's trapped between 2 hungry sets of Protoss teeth, but he can also see that there's very limited anti-air here. Just 3 stalkers, and that's about it. I don't think there's any way you can abuse that at this stage of the game, no. Okay, so the Warp Prism coming back in. It's got a ton of Zealots in it, and Jim just being a genius, just being a boss at that, doing a huge warp in the main, abusing what we have here from XY, but XY nonetheless finally shutting down that warp prism. Will be able to stabilize, but, you know, at the stage that we see, iG.Xy is stabilizing at, he's actually eaten a huge amount of losses. He's forced so many scans on those DTs, and he's lost so many workers at the same time, and he's been forced to stay inside of his main base as is natural. He's lost 28 workers to his name. If he had not lost those 28 and had mules to back that up, then he would be, I think, in an absolutely wonderful position. And sure, Jim is only ahead by a little bit in the way of supply, but once you examine all of that supply, most of it is actually composed of probes right now. Look at that, 72 probes actually. And I think Jim is probably going to move out and attack while simultaneously taking his fourth. At least that's what I could see happening. I won't say that it's absolutely guaranteed 100% on the way. Okay. So Jim's brought his double medevacs home. Somehow in all of that mess, he managed to get them out alive. And... oh wait, did I say Jim brought the medevacs home? I meant XY brought the medevacs home. And Jim is going for extended thermal lance as well as blink. He's getting ready for the late game, which means we're going to see those blink stalkers getting ready to blink into the correct position to take down all the Vikings that they need to. And we're going to have to see XY attack on the Ghost Academy, but I don't think... excuse me, I don't think he has the economy to support that just yet. A couple of Immortals in the mix as well. They will actually do wonders against all these Marauders, and there is a ton of Marauders at that. In fact, I think what Jim's going to need to actually hold against this, what would make it even easier for him to hold against this, is if he had Storm, but I think he's going to have a tough time doing that, really. Okay, so XY now bringing out the Vikings to scout ahead of his opponent, and here's the most dangerous part of this. The third is completely exposed, but XY does not know where his opponent's main army is. Oh boy, here we go, the huge engagement. It looks like we have Jim a little reluctant to engage because everything that he's got right now is basically hard countered, if you will, by what we have here from XY, who's now pulled SCVs along for the ride, an entire mineral line of them, not quite tanking the way they should be. They're actually attacking the Nexus right now, and sure, that could help, but I don't see, you know, XY getting out of this engagement with his entire main army. He's going to take down that last Colossus, or these last two Colossi with very little trouble, I think, but no, the Stalkers are just a little bit too much. Probes have been pulled, DT's warped in to deal with that, and now it looks like iG.Xy goes ahead and throws out the GG. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys liked what you saw here today, just go ahead and click on the subscribe button. This is Breaker. Next semester I'll be going to Korea, which is in about 10 days. And I'm hoping this will help me develop my social networking. So, yeah. If you guys would so kindly, just go ahead and click on the subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time.